Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Tacen's channel. We have a special guest for you guys today as we sit here with the Senior Product Manager, Mr. David Jimenez. David, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm very good. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, and I really wanted to get you on, but before we dive too deep into what you're doing, tell me about your background, how you got involved with Tacen, and what you were doing beforehand.
Yeah, I've always had a pretty good interest in startups. I've had for the last couple of years kind of I don't know if passive is the right word, but a passive interest in Web3 crypto. And I actually got involved in Tacen through Twitter. I think that's how a lot of people probably um, find access to startups.
Mhm.
Jay, our CEO, tweeted that he needed some help with a couple of specific things. I was preparing to go to law school at the time. And I told him that I was able to help him. And 3 years later, we're still here. But like you said, um, I'm a product manager at Tacen. I principally work on uh, the exchange product that we're working on, and then also some of
Mhm.
the other smaller Web3 milestones that we're pursuing. Um, yeah, my background is principally in traditional agile product management, but
Mhm.
that kind of means different things for each company that you work for. So yeah, at the moment, basically we're working on um, deploying our exchange and then working on expanding our product offering. But yeah, that's kind of where we are.
Wonderful. Yeah, I would say the fact that you kind of popped up on your map via Twitter is very indicative of the blockchain crypto space as a whole.
Totally, totally.
And that's entirely basically projects pop up and someone's like, well, I think I could actually they get involved in the community and they're like, well, actually, I kind of want to be a little more involved than just talking about it.
100%.
And then they wind up
Yeah,
on the teams.
yeah.
It's
No, I think that crypto Twitter is a really good resource, and it's kind of unique in that tech really hasn't had a forum like Twitter for a really long time to be able to discuss ideas,
Mhm.
find unique people, and
Yep.
we've really been able to broaden horizons outside of just like talent in the Bay Area or in like Southern California, those kinds of things, or in New York City. So yeah, the Twitter side of things has been really really productive, really really great, and I mean it's gotten me involved in some pretty cool things. So yeah, really great.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So then from there, okay, so you're the senior product manager, and you lightly touched on the product, but like walk me through a day in the life of like what you do in relation to testing.
Yeah, so Tacen is a really engineering heavy company. Our CEO is an engineer, and we put a lot of emphasis on um, having really, really good, having really, really capable engineers and kind of making their work a priority. A big part of what I do as a product manager is I want engineers and the other teams that I work with to understand the why of what we do. So if I can get them to buy into the why of a specific feature, the why of a specific architecture, the why of a specific user flow, then
Mhm.
they'll be much more capable and much more motivated to be able to build that out. So a big part of what I do is, product managers I think are supposed to be storytellers. We talk about the why, but in a much more broad macro sense, I work with the executive team and I work with the individual stakeholders to define what the product roadmap is,
Mhm.
what it is that we want Task and Exchange to be able to do, what it is we want it to be able to accomplish, what it is we want users to be able to do, and then take all of the informed research, user interviews, competitive analysis, and then bring
Mhm.
that into a comprehensive product roadmap. And then from there, it's just about tweaking it and then implementing it with the individual teams that I work with. So that's kind of what I do in a very very broad sense.
Yeah, yeah, like any project kind of arose by any other name smells just as sweet. You're a core member of the team, and while there's something you handle and specialize in specifically, obviously you play a lot of roles and wear a lot of hats in what you do.
Yeah, we're a small startup, so that's not just me, but I think everybody has to wear a lot of hats. But we've been pretty successful at managing the way that we do it, and I think that the progress that we made will speak for that.
Wonderful. Yeah, so tell me so much about like this is the first quarter of the year's done now. And do you feel like things are going as well as they could? And talk to me about how you feel like Tassin's doing versus the macro markets. If you feel like diving into it, just give me what you got.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the first quarter goes, we've been really, really successful. We've hit some really great milestones. Building an exchange is no small task. It's no
Mhm.
small endeavor, and whenever you're dealing with people's money, and whenever you're going to be dealing with people exchanging goods and exchanging assets, it takes a really, really long time to get it right, to make sure you're confident in the product, and to feel comfortable. bringing it to a point where people are going to be using actual money. So we took the first big milestone, and we were able to check that off of our list. And that milestone was getting the Tacen exchange into an open alpha environment, which basically just means a live, publicly accessible testnet exchange that people are able to play with. We've
Mhm.
been able to see the way that users interact with the exchange. We've been able to see the way that users uh, get from point A to point B. We've been able to see the way that users are trading, and then we've been able to make small tweaks to the way that to the overall experience of the exchange, which has been really really great. It's
Mhm.
been a really good time for us to work out some kinks on the back end, some kinks on the the actual blockchain smart contract side of things, and it's been really great to get some user feedback, drum up some user hype, and some user support. And it's been a big milestone. As
Yeah.
far as where things are going, obviously we're working towards getting Tacen Exchange into mainnet. We're working towards getting going through the formal audit process and really shoring up all of the back end. A big part of getting to mainnet is um, building out the entirety of the decentralized settlement layer, basically what
Mhm.
Project
Mhm.
TXA is building. We can talk more about that if you want to.
Mhm.
But we've kind of decided recently that the next logical step for us to be able to get, Tacen Exchange's full and all-encompassed vision to mainnet is to take a little bit more bite-sized pieces. I think I mentioned earlier agile, and I think that it's really easy for engineering teams and product teams especially to kind of fall into like an old school waterfall mentality where like you have to finish this huge chunk of work before it can get released.
Mhm.
We want to get away from that. So what we're going to be working on right now and then working on getting up into mainnet is a more simple swap protocol where users are able to um, you know bridge in, bridge out, swap their assets from one chain to the next, and then add liquidity to an order book.
Mhm.
And then users will also be able to stake tokens and be able to add or earn rewards for settlement services, basically services. Yeah, services that receive the data of settlement and then process that data and make sure that the exchange is settling on honest and correct terms. So that's the first step going forward, and then eventually, yeah, we're going to be getting the Tacen exchange proper to mainnet as well.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, at the end of the day, you're kind of treading a fine line where you want to get something out as soon as you possibly can, but you are
Yeah,
very, very incredibly correct in that building an exchange is not a small feat by any means. I knew
totally.
plenty of exchanges back in the ICO boom bust, so to speak, that went
Yeah,
live and oh look, there's one exploit and now the exchange is out of money. If they weren't even just planning on
yeah,
just leaving with the
totally.
money in the first place, it's hard to tell with everything that was going on back then. But in general, yes, you're talking about you need something concrete and well put together where there can't be any issues because you're talking about real funds, people's real money going into this. So it makes sense.
Yeah,
But in the same vein, yes, I definitely like the idea that you guys are saying, okay, let's not be ridiculously idealist about this. We are here. We want to get something accomplished. Let's start taking those baby steps instead of planning
yeah,
to take that one
yeah.
monumental step. So yeah, well on you guys for that as well. So then yeah, you talked about Project TXA a little bit there too. How are things going on that side with the technology side? I'd gotten to play around with the alpha a little bit myself, and
Mhm.
the idea of how it works is really interesting. And I'm curious, like what's been going on since that was released and what's the next steps?
Yeah. So really quick to touch on what you said about the ICO boom of like 2017 and then 2020 and those two different what did we call them, crypto summers or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, Basically what we're building is exactly is an exchange architected in such a way that we would mitigate against all of the things that happen to all of those different projects. We're really trying to change the way that um, crypto is traded, and we're trying to get closer to that ideal of the way that we think that it's meant to be traded, which is
Mhm.
in a completely decentralized way and a non-custodial way. So I think that the architecture that we've built out has really been able to mitigate against a lot of those terrible things that happened to a lot of projects. Regarding Project TXA, things are going super super well. All of the settlements that happen on Open Alpha right now are done with a settlement data provider, a centralized settlement data provider controlled by one that we've spun up. But just as a a brief explanation. A settlement data provider is basically something akin to a node that receives all of the trade and settle well trade and blockchain data on the
Mhm,
exchange, and then reports on that data when users are ready to settle and withdraw their funds.
mhm,
So basically, what that means is it enables the exchange to be entirely non-custodial. They don't have to worry about clearing transactions. They don't have to worry about the exchange of funds between parties. They're really just able to be a centralized order book, matching orders, and then they're able to settle in a decentralized way. So um, like I said, the alpha right now is running on a settlement data provider that is, for lack of a better word, decentralized. It's not community controlled yet, but
mhm,
it's decentralized. It's gone really well. Like I said, over the course of this open alpha, we've been working out some kinks. We've been working out some specific uh, issues that we might have had, and we're getting really really close to being able to provide a fully decentralized settlement layer. Now, like I said, the first step towards that is to um, create a swap protocol that will also have something of a smaller network of decentralized of settlement data providers, and we really want the community to be involved in that. So
mhm.
what's coming is there will be settlement data providers that report on settlement data in the swap protocol, and users will be able to stake on those settlement data providers and provide something akin to an insurance fund.
Mhm.
Um, and then they will be able to earn rewards, earn fees based on the staking that they've provided. So it's a really really cool opportunity to get people that are passionate about the project in early, and um, helping them reap some rewards for their support really really early. But Yeah, things on the project TXA side are going really really well. Anytime that you have to build out something that is entirely novel and entirely decentralized, again, you really want to make sure that it's completely shored up. It's very very stable. It's very very sure of itself, and we're well on our way. We're getting real close.
Perfect, David. Well, thank you for coming on, introducing yourself, talking about where things are sitting here after the first quarter is wrapped up, and telling us a little bit about what's coming into the future. If anyone has any questions, David, where should they go to learn more?
I would go to one, Tassen's website, and two, following Tassen. I think it's Tassen underscore app on Twitter. They're really really active. They'll respond to anything that you guys got.
Perfect. Well, David, again, thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking to you, and please have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Mike. You too.